The nation has been divided over a range of topics. Racism, guns, live-action Lion King versus animated Lion King, and now this.
So there's this simple math problem designed for fourth graders, but it's causing quite a division on social media. So some Twitter users have gone mad trying to figure out this equation. It is 8 divided by 2, and in parentheses, 2 plus 2.
Seems simple enough, right? But it's dividing the internet and our newsroom.
I've been told by many that the answer is number 1, although I bet you that's disputed because the other half of the people say 16.
16. I got 1.
It would have been 1 100 years ago, but now the answer is 16.
Okay, the fact that basic math problems are a viral debate just shows you how bad America's education system has become. Because you realize this isn't a perception thing like the dress or Yanni or Laurel, right? It's math. So there's a right answer here and a wrong answer. You've got 8 divided by 2. That's 4. And then parentheses, 2 plus 2 is 4. And then 4 divided by... I don't want to waste your time. Everyone knows the answer. You guys know the answer. I know the answer. We all know the answer. And I know some people right now are like, who cares, man? Who cares? Why do we even need these equations in daily life? We never use this stuff in real life. Well, that's where you're wrong. You need to know this kind of stuff. Right? You use it in the real world. Like every time you eat at a restaurant with a bunch of friends, there's always a fight when you have to split the bill, but not if you know the math. You see, you'll be like, the bill is $150 and there's 8 of us. But in parentheses, you ate all the nachos with the extra cheese. So you owe 16 and I owe 1. It works. It works. All right, let's move on from division to multiplication. Because you know how it feels like traffic has gotten a lot worse over the past few years? Well, now we know who to blame.
Uber and Lyft are admitting what cities have been saying about them for years. They make traffic a lot worse. A study commissioned by both companies looked at 6 major cities. Uber and Lyft accounted for more than 10% of what they call vehicle miles in some areas, and 1/3 of those miles came without a passenger. Now, one study in San Francisco found Uber and Lyft may have caused traffic to double. That's double during a 2-year period.
That's right. In some cities, there are so many Uber and Lyft cars on the road now that it's caused traffic to double. Partly because so many cars drive around empty, and partly because they go around the block 4 times, even though I put in the exact address. Why is it so hard to find an address? FedEx can find my address, Domino's can find my address, my illegitimate child found my address twice, because he's persistent like his father, whoever that may be, but somehow Uber always gets lost. And honestly, I don't know how we're gonna fix this thing, right? Because this traffic is becoming a problem, right? But at the same time, we all use these Ubers to get places. But because of Uber, there's extra traffic, so we can't actually get places. Then we're gonna be late for work, which means we all get fired, which means we have to get a job as an Uber driver, making the traffic even worse. It never ends. Now, Uber has said that to try and alleviate traffic, they invented Uber Pool, right? So we all join together. And now they've said that they're going a step further. They've got another new service for nearby destinations called Uber Stride. See, what you do is you put the address into your phone, and then you just walk there, you lazy piece of shit. You just walk. We don't need Ubers all the time. We can just walk. Yeah. And then afterwards, you can rate yourself. You can be like, 2 stars. I talk too much. All right, moving on. Police in America are learning every day that some of the practices they consider normal are not exactly great when dealing with other human beings. And this story out of Texas is just the latest example.
Next tonight, outrage over a pair of widely viewed photos of mounted police officers leading a man down the street with a rope after arresting him in Galveston, Texas.
Authorities say a police vehicle was not available at the time. Galveston's African-American police chief apologized to Neely and called the incident an unnecessary embarrassment, adding this is a trained technique and best practice in some scenarios, but that the officer showed poor judgment in this instance.
Poor judgment? Oh, and poor judgment is an understatement. If you're doing something in 2019 that could also be a scene from Django Unchained, you should probably think again. And also, why are American police still on horseback? What is this, 1865? What is this? Because you realize there's no good way to arrest someone when you're riding a horse, right? Whether you're leading him by the rope or you throw him over the back, it's always going to look racist. It's actually the least complicated equation. Cops plus black person plus multiplied by a horse equals racism. That's all it is.